going live. We're going live. I think we might be live right now. All right, we are live. We are live. Hey, how's my audio okay? Audio okay?
Sounding great, looking better. How we doing?
Let's go. Bull Moose, let's get into this. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The Brew with Matt and Mike. We are rolling. Wisconsin just lost a tough one to Michigan. But I believe this is actually a blessing in disguise. But Mike, how are you doing today, sir? It's a wonderful Saturday. Got to watch some fun basketball, man. What are you thinking?
Man, I've had a great day so far. I had to get up and do some work for my other company. I have a grass cutting business down here, so I had to go take care of some commercial properties this morning. So I've been up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed since about 5 a.m. Then I came home and ate a little lunch and watched a fabulous basketball game. Guys really didn't make that many shots today, offensively especially. It was a weird game in terms of game of runs. There was big runs, and then it seemed like, it turned into a rock fight, and then it got into big runs again. So really, really fun basketball, really high-level stuff. Very impressed with what Wisconsin did today. Man, Michigan is huge. Like, why are we dealing with all these giant humans? Like, for the last 2 days, they've been wrestling giants for 2 days, and they almost took down another one today.
Yes. And I will say, talking about giants, I got to give Mara credit. The way he was closing out on Balauskas after Balauskas had those early threes was an absolute game changer in this game. Yep. He was closing space. It seemed like Balauskas had room, and Balauskas would close that room so quickly. So I got to give him credit there. And also, something that bothered me, and they did call it travel on it, was his casual get the ball kind of shuffle backward a little bit, get closer. And then how are you going to stop a guy who's 7'3", 7'4" if he's allowed to do that shuffle? You can't. Yep. You can't. And if you can get away with it, go ahead and do it. But I'm glad the refs did call it once. But, Mike, to me, this is actually a blessing in disguise. Like, I wanted Wisconsin to win this, but now that the game's over, you never want to lose. But if there is a way to lose, I don't think you could lose any better than this, because they finished the game going down swinging. They swung hard at the end. They fought to the bitter end. They had some momentum. Rapp got to see the ball go through the hoop. He went absolutely nuclear on them, unlike Iran. Bad joke. But Rapp went absolutely nuclear, and I think that was good for his confidence, because he didn't have the best Big Ten tournament leading up to this. You got to see Carrington knock down 2 threes. He knocked one down late. It was good to see him see the ball go through the hoop, because he had some bad misses. But, Mike, I just love how this team doesn't quit. And I said it when they got down 15. They need to get down 15. They're down 15 against Illinois, and they almost pulled it off once again. But this team, man, high ceiling. Blessing this guy's to lose today.
Yeah, I like this team ceiling, right? It's funny, they're giving me some real old school Iowa State when Fred Hoiberg was still there. They had George Niang when they would get down they got down in the Big 12 tournament. They would almost always go down by 20. And then in the second half, they would just show up, and they won. So I think they won 4 or 5 games straight, including the Big 12 tournament and going into the NCAA tournament. And they got all the way to Sweet 16, maybe. And that was a great team. Pardon me. I had a little soda water earlier. Thank you for your patience. No, but absolutely, this team, it's those 2 guards. This is the thing. The 2 guards just they keep going. They keep pushing. They don't stop. That continuous pressure. I've quoted it a couple of times. It's like the Veer offense that they ran in Remember the Titans. It's 6 plays. If you give it time, it works like Novocaine. You just got to give it time. And that's what they've been doing. Constant pressure by Boyd. It wears teams out when you have to deal with a point guard who is constantly putting pressure on you. You have to account for him every transition. It's not we can maybe kind of relax and transition. No, he puts so much pressure on them. And then obviously Blackwell, looking as healthy as he has looked in a long time. And I love that. I love his confidence. I love his swagger. They took some bumps and bruises in this game, and it was a very physical game. So I'm thankful that they get some extra days to rest up, because those 2 guards come tournament time are huge. Tournament games are won by guard play and winning the backboard. So for me, it's 2 big things. I loved watching this team play the last 3 days. Man, the maturation process of this team has been so fun to watch, and just their consistent style. They have stayed with their style. I remember watching the Illinois game, and they were like, these guys shoot too many threes. They need to attack more. And it's like, guys, this is what they've done. This is what they've been doing. This is what they're going to keep doing. And I love that they've found this identity.
Yeah, they don't abandon who they are. And earlier on in the season, I was saying, like, hey, you touch the post some more, like get downhill towards the hoop, but they don't abandon their identity, whether it's working, whether it's not working. They're going to keep going because they have that confidence. And Wisconsin ended up losing this game, but there is something about the confidence of this entire team, but especially Blackwell and Boyd, where they're so confident that I kind of had a doom and gloom mentality when games used to be this close and it'd be just back and forth. I feel like something would go against Wisconsin. They'd mess up. Not with this year's team. I expect against these high-level opponents on the brightest of stages, I expect Wisconsin to win these games. That it feels different, but the boy just instills confidence in me. Blackwell instills confidence in me all the way up here in Wisconsin, watching them down in Chicago. I believe that they're going to get the dub. But for people just joining, what I was saying earlier is I believe this is a blessing in disguise that they lost this. I wanted to win. It was fun. It would have been awesome and knocked out Michigan once again. But playing 4 games in 4 days, and Mike, you can touch on this as a former player at this level, but playing 4 games in 4 days, especially this was 3 emotional games that went down to the wire in overtime, thriller against Illinois yesterday, and this one goes down to the wire. That's a lot on the legs. And then let's say you have a turnaround, you play on Thursday, and your last game was Sunday, 4 games in a row, and that's just a lot. And let's say you're playing down in Tampa, like let's say Wisconsin gets sent to Tampa. That's a lot. So if there's a way to, you never want to lose, but if you're going to lose, this is the way to lose, in my opinion. But Mike, can you touch on that a little bit? Like, just how much of a toll does playing this much in such a short period take on you ahead of the NCAA tournament?
We had a couple of deep runs when I was there. We went to the semifinals, but this is the thing, that the tournament has changed since I've been there. This was their 3rd game in 3 days, and that should have been the championship game, right? It wasn't just, oh, hey, we got to see, because they're a top 5 seed. So normally they would have played, the quarterfinal and then the semifinal and gotten all the way to the Big Ten championship. Now it's that 4th game. And I think we saw that last year. That 4th game really gets you. And I mean, just watch how physical these games are. These are high level, high degree, high physicality games. They take a toll. The screens, like, I was super impressed with Michigan's screening ability of just, they're hitting dudes. It's a very, very physical brand of basketball. And to do that to your body continuously, they're young guys. They got some tiger blood in them, but, tiger blood can only get you so far. There is some time where your body does need to rest. And especially for Boyd and Blackwell, man, they are in a flow state right now. They are flowing off of each other. It's great to see them be Batman and Batman. You can't even say Batman and Robin. It's Batman and Batman, Batman and Superman. However you want. The tag team is awesome. And they have learned how to play with each other. And it's really, really fun to watch them. And so I hope those guys go get in their hyperbolic chambers, go rest, go sleep. Don't do any nonsense. Just hang out. You can go get all your business out the way later. Go enjoy yourself tonight. Go sleep. Go get back in your own bed. I think they're definitely going back to Madison. It's a quick 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive. Maybe get some Portillo's. I don't know about you. I'm a big Portillo's guy. I'm jealous that everybody gets to eat there. So a little good old Italian cheese. Oh my goodness. Hyperbaric. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Brian. Not hyperbolic, hyperbaric, the best.
Mike. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Keep going. Keep going. You got it. I cooked for a little bit. You got it.
I was just saying, Mike, Mike likes to enjoy and live life a little bit. Were you being responsible in between the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, definitely was. I definitely was. I can say that I have had my fair share of fun. Maybe I had a little bit too much fun in college at times, but between the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament, there was not a lot of nonsense. I mean, we had good teams. We expected to make deep runs. We knew what was at stake. The pressure at this time of the year is very, very different. The mentality is very different. The energy you have for basketball, especially if you're going to the tournament, it's like, oh no, we got to be ready for this. I'm in bed. I'm trying to be, as active as I can be. I'm definitely not going to class. Definitely not doing homework though. That's a fact. We'll deal with that at the very end of the year. But for me, it's these guys are as ready as they're going to be going into the NCAA tournament. And I'm so geeked to watch them wherever they land.
Yeah, and I also want to throw out there that historically, one, I don't believe winning, let's say Wisconsin won today and won tomorrow, I don't really think that does anything for their seeding. The way I see it is the NCAA tournament pretty much has their bracket filled out, and unless there's a bid stealer from, say, like, well, there's going to be one with like Akron or whoever wins the MAC, if they let Miami of Ohio in. But unless there's a bid stealer, I believe the bracket at this point is already pretty much fully cooked, and you're playing for pride. You want to win your conference tournament. But I don't think this really has much of an impact on seeding. And I also want to point out that in recent memory, the winner of the Big Ten tournament, we've seen some struggles from the winner in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, just in recent memory, I'm looking at some of the winners, and I'm going off the top of my head here. But in 2021, Illinois won it. Hard fought. Conference was super tough that year. Then they stunk in the tournament. They won it, and I think they lost to Loyola Chicago in the round of 32. Iowa was 8-9. Illinois was a 1. 2022, Iowa won the Big Ten tournament. They got a 5 seed, and they lost in the first round. And then Purdue last year, 2023, Purdue won it. They were the 1 seed that lost to a 16 seed. So winning the Big Ten tournament isn't the end-all be-all. 24, Illinois made an Elite 8, got killed at UConn or a Sweet 16, and then Michigan last year, I'm trying to remember what they ended up doing, but moral of the story, and you can go back to 2016. I remember Michigan State was a 2 loss to the 15 Middle Tennessee State. And Purdue also made it to that championship game that year in 2016. They lost to Little Rock, Arkansas in the first round. So hooping in the Big Ten tournament, it's fun, especially for the players and the coaches. You want to win that. But like big picture here, I really think this is – I don't know if I could script this any better. I'm proud of how they played. Love to see they battled. They went down swinging. Just love the effort. Love some confidence being instilled there. Let's get to a few comments. Guys, leave us some comments. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the video.
Thank you guys so much.
If you don't mind. But we'll go.
We got 30 people in here. This is great. Thank you guys so much. This is fun.
Yes, sir. So – 0-point difference in the 2 games we showed. We can compete with our third best starter. I'm not phased. We can go on a run now. I mean, you say Batman and Batman or Superman and Superman. I almost want to throw Nolan Winter as Superman too. Like, let's not forget this. Beating Washington is a huge dub without Nolan Winter. Beating Illinois is a massive dub without Nolan Winter. And almost beat Michigan, that's a dub in my book.
Without your best big man, and their big man took control of the game. Like, I think Nolan Winter's in there. There's a few less offensive rebounds. He has the ability to get downhill with his dribble handoffs and stuff like that. So he puts a different type of pressure on them than Belauskas or Rapp does. So for me, I love it. Like, we played great without arguably our best player. We played great without our best big for sure. No questions asked. So I'm loving this. Like, man, let's integrate him back in. Hopefully this is great. He gets a few extra days to rest. I was happy he didn't even have to get in there. And we did what we needed to do. We took care of business. We kept that 6 seed. They might even push him up to a 5. I doubt it. But, keeping that 6 seed was huge, and they did what they needed to do.
I almost prefer a 6 seed. I prefer a 6 seed.
Right.
And this team. And, Mike, I also, we'll get to more comments, leave us some more comments, and we'll definitely get to them. But I also want to point this out, and I was thinking about this. Let's say Wisconsin plays a mid-major in a 5-12, 6-11, or I doubt it, 4-13. I highly doubt that's going to be the case. But let's go 5-12, 6-11. We've said it, and I think most Badger fans agree with this, that Wisconsin, when the lights are at their brightest, they play their best. That's a fact. But they also have played down to their competition sometimes this year. But I was thinking about this a little bit. The lights are bright in March, and this team shines when the lights are bright. I have a hard time believing they're going to come out sleepy in the NCAA tournament, because even if they're playing a mid-major in a 6-11 or 5-12, like, it's the NCAA freaking tournament. Do you think they're going to show up regardless of them playing like an 11 or 12, or do you think we could see some sleepiness from them?
I think it's really interesting. You never really know. Like, the NCAA tournament is such a different monster than anything you've ever been a part of. Like, I've been a part of high-level professional tournaments. I've been a part of state tournaments when I was in high school, big high-level AAU tournaments. The NCAA tournament is its own monster, and everybody handles pressure a little bit differently. And even the best guys can sometimes take a step back or falter, especially early. We've seen it. That's why it's called March Madness. And that pressure cooker, not everybody's built for it. Now, I happen to believe, and I happen to, after following this team for the last, especially since December, end of December, beginning of January, this team has just cranked it up a few notches in that development from Coach Gard and those guys really trusting each other and learning to become a cohesive unit. I think this team is going to show up. I think guys seeing the ball go through the rim today. Carrington had a rough tournament. Hopefully we get an arena that has some pretty good sightlines and is a pretty good shooting arena, especially in the first round. Depends on where you go. Sometimes NBA arenas are a little bit more difficult to shoot in just because the shooting lines are very, very different and sightlines for that. So hopefully we get a shooting friendly gym, and these dudes are ready. Like, I think we're not going to get a sleepy start from them. I think they're going to show up. I think Nick Boyd's made a run to a Final Four, so he has that Final Four experience, or he's like the little engine that could in the Major Payne. And I feel like he's more the little engine that could from Major Payne. If you know that story, are you too young for Major Payne, Matt?
I don't know. I feel like I remember the little engine that could, like a children's book. Like, I remember.
Correct. But if you've ever seen Major Payne, which I highly recommend, it gets a little bit dark. It gets a little bit Vietnam-ish where he goes and he's, kind of that. Yeah. So I would say Nick Boyd is on that level. So and he's him and Blackwell. It's crazy. Like the fire and ice that those two dudes have of just, hey, we're going to pull you guys with us is awesome. And I think that's going to, pay dividends. All the big wins they've had, they like to be on the road. They like to be in hostile environments. So the more hostile, the better for those dudes.
100%. Let's get to a few more comments here. We play up, we play down, fellas. Don't disagree. Preach, Matt. You got it, brother. Brett Rail, UW, I think gets a 5. Need more from Boyd and Blackwell to win today. But you know what I love? Nick Boyd. We talk about sleepy starts. Boyd ain't coming out sleepy. Holy cow! And I don't care that he had shooting wise. I wonder what he finished on the day. 6 of 20, and it was pretty bad to start, but boy, does he go hard. He always goes so freaking hard. He's Russell Westbrook with this effort, and he better play on a damn NBA team next year. I swear, if he's not in the NBA, I will lose it. He's an NBA backup point guard, 100%. You can't tell me otherwise. He's shooting the ball well. He can penetrate. His finishes over 7-footers is crazy. Like, look at the veins in my neck popping out. He should play in the NBA. That's kind of scary. I'm sorry, I won't do that again, guys. I don't know what my deal is. I'm getting way too into this right now.
We had a couple days.
Did
we had
Mike
a couple days off.
Team USA in Puerto Rico.
No,
Mike, you want to answer that quick?
No, Puerto Rico got mollywopped. I got to see Caitlin Clark play. Man, the USA women's team is ridiculous. It's all like 6'5", 6'6", 6'1". It's everybody is 6 foot and above, and they are so skilled. It was really fun to watch them. I know a few girls from the Puerto Rican national team just because I practiced with them and got to travel with them 3-on-3 stuff. So, I was rooting for some of my friends out there. But, man, the USA women's team is like – even their bench is just like, you're like, oh, so we're just bringing another WNBA all-star, like best women's player in the world. And we didn't even have our best players there. We didn't have Brittany Griner. We didn't have Aja. Like we were missing a few bigs, so it could have got even more ugly. But overall, it was a great game. Love to see it. Go support some women's basketball, especially here. They have the World Cup qualifiers. It's really cool. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah, Angel Reese is the worst.
Angel Reese was there.
Worst. She's the absolute worst. I watched 3 minutes, and we're getting back into Badger basketball. We'll pivot. Just give us 1 second. I texted Mike. I'm not going to actually say what I said, but Angel Reese, I watched like 3 minutes. There's a clip of like Caitlin Clark annoying her handshake, and I don't know if she saw her. I don't think she saw her, but I will say that Angel Reese, I watched 3 minutes, and I saw utter nonsense from her, but that's for another time. Mike Heiser. Great game, brother. Team has so much potential. They've shown they can keep up with the best teams, and comeback ability is needed to make a deep run in March. Totally agree. Brian B, no business. They had all the business being in that because this team doesn't give up. Tend to agree. Boyd is a big-time player. I agree. Preach. All right, preach it, Mikey B. Blauskis. Okay, Mike, address this one for me. Blauskis, liability on defense, too slow. We need Mike out there instead.
Here's the deal. Like, I'm more of a 3-4 now. I'm playing more on the wing position. Belauskas is a huge human. And go ahead and check some tape. There's some highlights from back even a month and a half ago. If you want to go back to a month and a half ago, Belauskas on the defensive end, Austin Rapp on the defensive end have grown up. Do you have any idea how giant Mara is? Do you really want someone else dealing with him? Like, I'm 6'7" and I'm 225. I'm a solidly giant human being. Like, I'm on the cusp. I'm not trying to deal with that. And for me, I thought Belauskas did a great job today. Maurer is a really high level, really talented, really skilled big man. He won Defensive Player of the Year, but if you saw some of that pivot and that footwork, that's not natural for a giant human such as that. And Belauskas is young. He's still 20. But I love what Belauskas has been doing defensively. He's altering shots. He's not necessarily blocking shots, but he's being very vertical. And defensively, he's boxing out. He's being in the way. He's being a huge human himself. And he's bludgeoning guys on the offensive glass. You guys don't really see it that much. Even if we don't get the rebound, he's tipping basketballs off the rim. He's giving us extra possessions. Like, I am loving what I'm seeing out of our two young bigs right now. And I'm loving what I'm seeing just for the future. Like, Belauskas is a guy. Watch, he hit 3 threes today, and he's what, 6'11".
You see him put the ball in the deck, like when they
a couple of times.
Out? Yeah.
Yes, like he's growing. Yes, he's growing, and for me defensively, he has improved so much. And there is a point where you have to go like, yo, he's still a kid. He's still a younger big man. They take time, and you can't ask bigs to laterally switch out on little guards and expect them to just stand them up and keep them out the paint. That's not his job. His job is to make them shoot tough 2-point jump shots. I know their game plan. Shoot floaters over them, tough contested layups, all that stuff. So for me, I've loved what Belauskas has done. The evolution of Rapp defensively, beautiful. Like, these guys are doing a great job.
Man, playing against all the quality length of the Illini in Michigan, we shouldn't see length like that again until the Sweet 16. Going to feel easier to get shots off. Go Bucky.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm calling it right now. For some reason in my gut, I feel like collision course, UConn, Wisconsin, Sweet 16. Let's run that.
Love to see
I agree. This is high level length, and I don't know, Wisconsin, they've got quite a bit of winning experience or down to the wire experience against this length. So I tend to agree. Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, bull moose dance.
What's the bull dance? What's the bull dance? Do we have like, is this a Chevy Chase reference from Caddyshack? Feeling the flow? Like, is that what we're doing here?
I don't know.
Okay.
Using, you know what cracked me up is Greg Gard, and he did this last year in the semis against Michigan State. Out of nowhere, out of a timeout, I think less than a minute left in the first half, Greg Gard called a zone when he knew Izzo, because he hasn't done zone all year, and this is 2025 Big Ten Tournament semifinals. He knew Izzo was going to be cooking up a play against the man-to-man defense, and he came out and he threw a zone against them. He did that against Michigan today, and it worked once or twice. He out of the timeout, out of the break, and he hasn't done that. I don't really remember him doing that barely at all year. He was saving it for a big moment, which I think is cool. It will be on the radar of Wisconsin's opponents in the NCAA tournament, I imagine. But at the same time, yeah, you never know. But I do like that Gard. Boy, has he evolved, man. Gard has the evolution of Gard. He would have no chance in hell in 2019 throwing a little zone wrinkle. So I love it.
Oh no, absolutely not. Oh, we do have an answer. It was the Happy Gilmore reference. I apologize. I should have known that. It's great riding the bull when he's getting busy after. I think he makes a putt. Pretty sure he makes a putt after that. We appreciate that. Any Happy Gilmore references are always welcome over here. Any Caddyshacks, to be honest. I don't know how you feel about Caddyshack, Matt. It's probably one of the best.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But, Mike, do you have any predictions on who's going to win it all?
Man, go Bucky. What are we talking about here? Let's go Badgers. Like, Nick Boyd, put them on your back, Nick Boyd and John Blackwell. Let's go. Get busy. I feel like we're going to take out Duke and Arizona. That's depending on where we're at. That's what we got to go take down. I'm ready for it.
We're talking absolute best case scenario. I'm going to say it right now. Roast me in the comments. I don't give a damn. Wisconsin, we're talking ceiling. What is Wisconsin's ceiling? Give us the natty. Give us the natty. We're talking ceiling. Everything goes right. I don't see why it's not in the realm of possibilities when you're talking best case scenario ceiling. Last year's Wisconsin team, that wasn't. Even if everything went right for them, they couldn't have won the natty. They didn't have the firepower. This team can make a Final Four. I'm telling you right now. They can play with anybody. They can beat anybody. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm saying my ceiling, I said Final Four is the ceiling. I'm saying that's the ceiling right now. I'm saying that this team can beat anyone on any given night. And they don't need everything to fall their way to do that.
No, like we just saw it. Like they can go hang 90 on people, and then they can be in a game at 65. You know, that's one of the bigger things. That's one of the evolutions of this team right now that we got to see through this tournament, right? They had some tournament experience. And instead of having to go hang 90 on somebody to go get wins against bigger teams, like they just went toe-to-toe without their best big against a lot of people's heavy favorite. Like Michigan is a heavy favorite for a lot of people.
Great point.
And, you know, they went toe-to-toe with them. And their evolution of being able to play in these games and these styles, right? Styles make matchups in the NCAA tournament. So I'm looking forward to this team. I think they can win in a couple of different ways. But the fact that they have the ability to go get to 90 in a game that they're going to, you know, because there's going to be a game that they're going to, you know what, offenses is flowing and they're going to need to get to 90 and they have the ability to do that. And I'm here for it.
100%. Any adjustments you'd like to see, Mike, going into the dance? And Mike, I'm going to let you take this. I will be right back in just a second. I need to go grab my charger. So Mike, you go cook.
Yes. Solo Mike. What's up, everybody? W's in the chat. No, any adjustments that we need to make? Not really. I think Coach Gard has figured out this team. I think he understands who he has and who's on the roster. You know, obviously integrating Winter back in, it's not going to be a problem. They played with him the entire year, so that's a big adjustment. And for me, it's there's nothing that, you know, they're going to have a couple of tweaks. They're probably going to put in a few different offensive sets. That's what they're going to do. You know, they're going to go over their scouting stuff today. On Monday, once they get their seeds. So I don't think there's going to be any real adjustments going on. I think it's going to be great for them. I think they're just going to go back to Madison tonight. You know, I remember when we would lose, we would go back to the Kohl Center the next day for the Selection Sunday. Go have some food. You go kind of hang out in the Kohl Center. I don't know if they still do it. But, you know, we'll go get some really delicious cookies. They make some of the best cookies at the Kohl Center for staff members, if you didn't know. I think that's what they're going to do. And there's no real adjustments that are going to be needed for this team. Small wrinkles offensively. Get ready maybe a couple of small, you know, sets that are going to be special situations. But I know they practice those all the time, so should be good.
Don't care if we're a 5 or 6 seed. Deserve a 5 in my eyes with such quality play versus top tier teams. But 6 seed has silver lining of keeping us away from the 1 seed longer. I agree. In college basketball, it has gotten more top heavy, but Wisconsin can also beat anybody on any given night. So I historically would like to avoid the 4 or 5. But with this year's team, I say bring it on. Like this team can beat anyone on any given night. We don't need the perfect path. So. Great job, guys. Thank you very much. These last 4 games without Winter gave opportunities to Rap and AB to have to shoulder more. I think for the most part they did well. Yeah.
I thought they did great. And I mean, we can shout out Will Garlock too. Will Garlock played well in his minutes.
Good
experience. He came in and he was not afraid. You know, he came in, he was doing what he's supposed to. He was using his size to his advantage. He had a couple of very nice plays, a couple of things that he can really build off of, coming the end of this year and going into next year.
Invite Devin Harris on. That's my dream interview. That is my dream interview. I would absolutely love it. Not sure how we're going to make that happen, but would love to do it down the road. It will happen. It will.
We'll make it work.
How can Michigan players run on the floor like that? Oh, that's an interesting point. They did at the end, but I don't know, timeout.
What do you mean when he hit the shot?
The shot. That's what I'm assuming.
I think there was a timeout called. I don't think in that moment. I don't think they're going to call a tech. Like for me, it's all about game flow. It's all about understanding. Like I'm pretty sure Coach Gard called a timeout. The ball was going to stop anyway. So I don't think it should be a tech. I think it should be, you should let kids celebrate. That's not a demonstrative, like that. It's more like if you call it tech, it's kind of like, what are you doing here? Let the kids have some fun. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. And as we get to more comments, I will say this is the Brew with Matt and Mike. Show some love to the channels. We are on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify if you want to listen to us on the go.
Spotify.
I will say I'm not sure where we stand with Apple Podcasts, but go and check us out. We would greatly appreciate that. We're just getting started, and we have some exciting things in the pipeline, don't we, Mike?
We do. We're going to fire out a couple more interviews. We just had a great one with my former college roommate, Jared Berggren. Gave us all kinds of insights. We probably, disappointingly, we didn't record the beginning of that conversation because Jared's big into what's a travel and what's not, as he's a very good skills trainer. So we probably will have to have him back on just to have that very specific conversation.
Educate, because
it was some nerdy. Oh, it was some nerdy stuff. I was ready for it. I had my hands rubbing together. I was like, oh, let's get into the nerds. Let's get into the weeds. Count me in.
Let's go. Much respect to Absolute Dogs on the court. Shout out to this Michigan fan. Classy guy. Appreciate you. Much respect. Absolute Dogs in the backcourt, plus the sharpshooting big fella. Good luck in the tournament. Good luck to you guys. And I will respond to this and say, just for me personally, and Mike, you know this about me. Don't get me wrong, Michigan's really good, and it's easy to root for your team, but holy cow, does Michigan have zero continuity outside Will Cheddar. If Wisconsin had zero continuity like that, I swear I wouldn't be doing anything I just wouldn't care. I'm just saying, I really wouldn't care. That's just me personally. I know I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm just saying for myself that they have no continuity. I would just be the biggest Will Cheddar fan in the world because he's been there for 5 years. But yeah, Michigan's a great team, and I wish you the best of luck. Classy guy, appreciate you. I agree. That's what I've been saying. I think it's very, very ideal. Oh, Mama Blackwell, how are you doing?
Oh,
thank you for joining us. We would love to have you on the show. We've sent you a message. If you're still here, that was 12 minutes ago. We did send you a message. Would love to have you on the show and chop it up and just talk about John and raising him, and also what's going on in your life. Would love to have you on. But yeah, that's a tough loss, but both Mike and I think it's a blessing in disguise.
We love it. We definitely do. Yeah, Mama Blackwell, come hang out with us. We would love to see how you raise such a fine and even tempered man that you got over there. Your son is very even tempered. I'm impressed with his temperament for sure. I'm sure he got it somewhere. Yeah, confident temperament. Yeah, confident temperament. He's seems like he's a very secure human, which we can always appreciate.
This is probably like you can take this one.
Got Mike's mandatory huge human confidence. It is. Yo, hey, when you've been around enough of them, there's no other way to describe them. Just huge humans. That's what it is. I appreciate that you've tuned in enough to understand some of my idioms. I appreciate you, Mr. Brian. That's very, very, very. That's one of the more rewarding comments I think I've had in a while.
Hey, Brian's been getting busy.
Yes, he has.
Been getting busy. Love it. Great effort without Winter. What does Rhodey add? Carrington needs to find his touch in the NCAA. Yeah, I'm glad Carrington knocked down a 3 late. I've been a little bit concerned because his misses have been some pretty bad misses, and then he ended up making, I believe, against Illinois in overtime or after the end of regulation, whenever it was. It was the second free throw. I think he missed the first. I was like, he doesn't look confident up there. He doesn't, and he made it nonetheless. But some of his misses have been pretty bad. Mike, have you seen anything going a little bit more granular and specific? Have you seen anything different in his shot? Do you think it's just mental? Or what do you think's going on?
I feel like he's rushing just a little bit. I feel like he has so much gravity right now, and the type of closeouts he's receiving are a little bit more aggressive. So he's been looking more to put the ball on the deck, which, evolution of his game as well. He's starting to put the ball on the paint. He had a couple of rough attacks today, which understandable. Michigan they're really long. They're really athletic. They play good defense. Dusty May's got them moving over there, so I understand why. And a lot of his shots, are coming from range, like not just easy 3-point shots, but range. And his first ones, he's taking from range, and he's been knocking those down. For me, it's more he's rushing it a little bit, and we just need to find a way for him to get an inside-out three from not necessarily from range, but just find something to get him going early as soon as he steps on the floor. Not necessarily coming off of pin downs or anything like that. I would love to see some more inside-out action off of Boyd or Blackwell penetrations and getting him one of those 10 toes down out of the corner to get him going. And then once he sees one go through, that's when we get 4 or 5. And it's the same with Rap. Once Rap sees one go through, it's like, oh, okay, we might get a little avalanche here. So that's the biggest thing with him. Maybe a little bit rushing and they're a little bit deep, but also he's been knocking them down. So it's just that's the nature of the beast sometimes.
Austin, you asked the question. So Bro answered my question. We handled that. Ceiling is that high when you're 4 and 5. They can all hit multiple threes. We have 6 or 7 guys who have gone off from 3 this year. It is dangerous. And also, and I did say this, and I really do like Janicki, and I'm looking forward to him hopefully he comes back to the program next year. But I will say, like, a silver lining of not having Janicki, we do miss some of the things he can do, but he was really the only guy out there who wasn't a threat from deep. I know every now and then he can shoot, but he was really a guy who wasn't a threat from deep, but just calling a spade a spade. And I like him. I like his game, especially before the season. You guys, I was telling Mike how big of a Janicki guy I was, and that hasn't changed. But silver lining, looking forward to him coming back, was he just wasn't much of a threat from deep, and that now everybody on Wisconsin can shoot. And I trust Rhodey. Hopefully Rhodey can be one of those guys who's not on the scouting report right now, and then he knocks down some big threes and some big shots for Wisconsin. So yeah, that is one silver lining. Everyone can shoot. W from Mike. I miss John Tanjay. Hey, we got a pretty damn good team this year. Gotta live in the moment. We're gonna miss this year's team pretty soon. The season's gonna be over in a few weeks, regardless of how well you do, and we're gonna look back and be like, that was a really fun team. So live in the moment, enjoy this team while it's here, because this is a special squad. And yeah, Tanjay, he was awesome, but holy cow, Nick Boyd's pretty awesome too. Rhodey, he has tenacious defense. I will say, that's a great point. Early in the game, Rhodey was a tone setter. He was really getting after it on defense, which I appreciated.
I mean, we had a comment earlier. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. But we had the comment of somebody saying, what does he do for us? He does a lot of things. Rhodey is a absolute connector. He's a glue guy. He's a guy who's a star in his role. He is taking the most difficult defensive matchup constantly, and he takes that pressure off of Boyd and Blackwell so those guys can go score. So for me, Rhodey is a quintessential piece. Yeah, I want him to score more, and he has some game, and I still think he's one of our best passing guards out of the pick and roll, especially throwing the ball down to Winter. Like, he's one of the guys that really understands we need to throw the ball to the Winter when he's open. So for me, Rhodey is a very huge piece because there's only one basketball, and you got guys that are putting up 20 plus shots a game, and he has accepted that fact, and he still plays his tail off on the defensive end, and he doesn't care. He doesn't pout. He just knows this is what I have to do to help this team win. And for me, that's a huge piece for Wisconsin, and he is extremely underrated.
So Michigan didn't have any timeouts. I think it might have been Wisconsin that called the timeout, but really,
Wisconsin did.
It's neither here nor there. I mean, like I said, I'm not heartbroken over this loss. Wisconsin played well. They fought, and I had a lot of fun watching. I mean, that was just a fun basketball game, and shout out to Rap. That's a moment watching with the crew I was watching with, wonderful human beings like that. I'll remember that Rap hot stretch for a long time. That was a lot of fun to watch. So it's okay. This year will definitely pay off in recruiting. Elite shooters are going to want to play for Coach Gard. Totally. Who doesn't want to play for this Wisconsin team? I'll say I feel like Wisconsin's old style got too bad of a rap. I know it was slower, but when the right pieces came, like we're talking about how Greg Gard with elite athletes, he does great things with them. The Nick Boyds, the John Tanjays, the Stores, the Johnnies. Like, they've played their best ball at Wisconsin that they've played nowhere near as good anywhere else or as well anywhere else. And like, I would say even with Bo, like when he got Alondo Tucker, do you really think Alondo Tucker is going to be runner-up for National Player of the Year at Kentucky or Duke? No, he's going to be another guy there. In my humble opinion, when Wisconsin, even under Bo, like when they got that next level guy, they cooked with them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, so I just think that Wisconsin, like I thought the old style got a little bit too much hate, and I think people focused too much on how slow it was. But I do agree. Like this, I almost felt like Gard had to adapt because of the bad reputation and stigma, the old style, and I'm glad he did. He's cooking when it comes to recruiting. Yeah, it's going to help. Wisconsin will have to probably do a little less of finding diamonds in the rough now than they've had in the past. Like John Blackwell, shout out Mama Blackwell, Mrs. Blackwell, thank you for joining. John, I don't know how many high major offers he had. I believe Wisconsin was competing with like Detroit Mercy and some other mid majors. I know Michigan and Michigan State weren't looking at him. Like Gard found a diamond in the rough that was under recruited, looked over, and Wisconsin's done that over the years where they found some guys under the radar. But this will definitely help with recruiting. But I want to see a lot of the guys stick around. I don't get me wrong, you got to hit the portal a little bit, but I want to see a lot of build from within.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep building from within, and I think they're going to still try to win on the margins, right? That's kind of the biggest thing is Wisconsin has won on the margins as well. Like, there's some smaller transfers. People are talking like Andrew Rohde. Andrew Rohde wasn't necessarily as big of a get, but what he does for this team is huge. He's bought into the culture, right? He's a Wisconsin kid. He understands. He saw it from afar when he was younger, and now bringing those type of people into the program is really how you keep that continuity going, right? So for us, man, I think recruiting wise, they're still going to win on the margins. They're still going to understand the type of guy that they need to bring in. But, the runs like this and teams like this help build up that bank. You start to get a little bit more NIL money. And now, they're having some rule changes where it's like $20 million per athletic program. And we got that information from our next guest, which we're excited to share from you later this week. But yeah, they get a certain amount of money, and this is only going to make the pie bigger for them. I agree. It's definitely going to help.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, who wouldn't want to play for Greg Gard right now with what he's doing? Love the interview with Jared, the roommate story. It was a hoot. Definitely go check that out. That was a really fun interview. We got some more in the pipeline. I think you guys need to have a what makes Matt mad in every episode, brief opportunity for one of his rants. Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I appreciate that. I am a glass half full guy. Like I
that's
try
not always mad.
On the negative. Yeah, I'm not always mad. But
that's not always mad.
And I'll lean into it. I'll look for things to get mad. Usually, I try to not look for things to be like, where can I get mad? What offends me right now? This person, It was kind of rude to me. I try not to look at that, but I will start looking for it more. I'll look to get upset at stuff.
No, Matt, we don't need that. Hey, here's the deal. Those veins, they get real, man. Those veins on your neck I feel like we still need to. I know
too much testosterone pumping in this body.
I feel like we cater to a solid crowd right now. Let's not try and scare the children, okay? Let's not try and scare the children. That's all I'm saying.
You're talking about scaring children. I think 22-year-old Mike might have the title for that.
What do you mean? I was awesome. What do you mean? I had an afro. I looked like Krusty the Clown sometimes. I looked like Cosmo Craner. I had a great time. What are you talking about?
See, some people are scared of Krusty. I don't think everyone loves Krusty.
Hey,
Krusty did some shady things. Krusty
he did.
Shady in Simpsons.
You're absolutely right. I will say this: the one time I might have scared some humans was when I dressed up as Orphan Annie as a sophomore, and I was skipping down State Street singing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow." It's very possible that could be a very scary core memory for a small child, but I don't think they were out at that point.
I will say I can't roast Mike about scaring children because Mike, fun fact, was voted in most sexiest men of March your senior year of college.
25 hottest guys in March Madness. I was like in the top 25. It was not like a ranking like who was number one. It was just like hey, these are the 25 best looking dudes in the tournament in 2013. What's up? Credited.
Yeah. I wonder if they still do that. Like honestly, I feel like what if someone like Boulder is compiling that list and it's just like ranking male hotness of 18, as they like to say, 18 to 22-year-olds? It might be a little weird. I guess it's legal, but it might be a little weird. Who's compiling that list? I'd like to know. Is it a fellow college age person, or do you have some old broad out there who's making a list? I don't know. I don't
Count
know.
me in for the old broad. I'm ready.
And Mike doesn't discriminate.
Nope, absolutely not.
Thoughts on the Bucky defense, especially in the second half, shutting off the water versus good offense sometimes. Yeah, there was one play in particular I noticed this where like the inbound, Michigan's inbound play, like they knew exactly where it was and they got the turnover.
Yeah.
But Mike, you want to break this down a little bit?
I think defensively, they're just kind of understanding where they got to send guys. One of the things that made our defensive team or our teams defensively so sound is we really understood where we wanted to send guys to on spots on the floor. You call them hot spots sometimes of where guys like to get to, and our coaching staff, they scouted there. I know Greg Gard has talked a little bit more about this, about how he streamlined his scouting reports. And so for us, like when we were playing, we knew where we wanted to send guys, and we knew our rules so well that we could, we were acting, not reacting. It was a constant, hey, we don't have to think, we're sending them here. And I think these guys cohesively have started to figure that out. Hey, where do we want to send guys? Where do we know we want to push guys, as well as where, the connectivity on the defensive end has really helped out. And just the season going along and progressing, they're starting to trust each other now. So it's great to see.
Yes. And then, Rap. Totally agree. Hey, Rap, I when I had him on the show, he was just and I like to see good people succeed. And I'm not acting like I know him that well because I interviewed him once and I've messaged him a few times. But I will say I really appreciated his vibe and energy when I interviewed him. Seems like a very good human being, and I love seeing him have the success. I love seeing him. What a turnaround this season! There was a point in time where it's like, are these Big Ten waters potentially a little bit too deep for him? This high major, is it a little bit too deep? Hell no, he turned it around, and I'm super happy for him. He's got a high potential. He's got a high ceiling, man. I think Rap is going to keep improving. He's a large human, as Mike likes to say. He's 6'9",
Yes.
6'10", and boy, Mike. And this, I will say, Rap's a little bit broader and stronger.
Yes.
But Mike, what do you think about this comparison? Little Steve Novak, potentially. Novak was a little thinner.
Yeah, Novak for me was closer to like a 3. He's giving me more Brad Miller vibes.
Brad Miller, come on. Brad Miller, wasn't he like 7 foot 250?
Yeah, and a shooter, and like an all-star, and
7
awesome.
foot 260. I know. I'm saying like he was very good, but 7 foot 260. Rap's not 7 foot 260. He's probably 6'9", 230, 240.
Maybe 240. Okay,
and I guess he's.
You're talking about Steve Novak. Like Steve Novak has got some big burly shoulders. Like, nah, Steve Novak was more of slender. And
I said he was slender. I said he was slender.
You're right.
Little boy.
I'm just letting. Hey, that's just my comparison. Just a style of game, right? He's going to be able to put it on the deck. But yeah, like you said, Rap earlier in the year, it seemed like the waters were a little deep for him, and he was swimming with sharks. Dude, he became a shark. He became one of those. He became one of those sharks, and he's a hunter now, and I like it. I'm excited to see his game grow.
Next week is going to be Shark Week for Rap. I'm feeling a heater, and I would be happy for Brody, man. He's kind of in conference play. I did the math this morning. I think 32 for 110 from the field, which is 29% in conference play, and from the field, not from three. Like that's rough. I think he was cooking against some mid-majors and some non-conference opponents early on in the year. Shot-wise, he does a lot for the team, but boy, wouldn't that be cool for Rhodey in this brand new season if he can have some good moments like down the stretch here where he goes on a heater? I think he's capable of it. He was a sniper last year at Virginia, absolute sniper.
Yeah, I think one thing too is it's hard when you play with 2 star guards that are very, very ball dominant, and they make a lot of plays for other guys, but they also go and get theirs. And so his flow with the offense is a little bit Sorry, I'll keep going. We're going to ignore that. One thing with him is Rhodey gives such an effort on the defensive end, and he's so locked in there that I think it's actually affecting his jumper. just because he has done so much of the dirty work and his legs are a little bit not quite underneath him because he's trying to guard guys that are smaller than him, as well as, he's guarding other team's best offensive player usually. So that takes a toll. Doing it on both ends is challenging, but hopefully he can find some legs and knock down some shots for us. I think come March, he's going to have a couple of big moments for us, especially if we go on a deep run.
No answer for Mara. Yeah, double team. I also want to point out, like you were talking about how high level Mara is as a player, Mara. Like, he's also extremely high level. I said this at the beginning, but probably not everybody was here for it. He's also extremely high level when he's able to kind of casually travel and skirt back and get himself in a great position. You can't stop him. You can't stop him unless Mike, I was thinking about this the other day. I got a question for you. We'll get back to some comments, especially this one.
We're definitely leaving that one alone.
But Mike, I was thinking about this. I enjoyed Steven Crowell. I thought he got a bad rap. Like I thought, to me, very
player.
Easy guy to root for because here's a guy in Steven Crowell that just played his role, super humble. He's not puffing his chest. Yes, go Blue. Congrats on the dub. You guys deserved it. No beef here. I don't know how you root for a bunch of 1-year rentals, but nonetheless, you guys are very good. Best of luck in the tournament. I don't have any bad blood towards you guys.
Sure, just call him Blockbuster at this point.
Yeah, Blockbuster. And remember on Bo Ryan, and I'll get back to my question. Bo Ryan after the national championship game was he was a little bitter, and I understand why. That was a heartbreaking second half, but he goes, "We don't do rent-the players here in Wisconsin." And then he's like, "No, I was talking about fifth-year seniors. We don't do the transfer portal, or we don't take in transfers," which they really didn't. And I actually thought they could have integrated that a little bit here and there, but it's also good to build from within. But that's always a cool. We don't do rent-the players here. Right after he lost to Duke.
All right, Bo. Yeah. Whatever you say.
Mike loves Bo. Mike will go to war for Bo Ryan. Mike, that's one thing I really respect about Mike is how high he holds his old coach, in status. Mike's the kind of guy who will go to absolute war for Bo Ryan. He loves his old coach, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I wish that's what we miss now in college basketball. We don't have that anymore. It's so transactional. It's not relational like it was for Mike and Bo Ryan. So I just think we're really missing that now. And then Mike, absolutely. I love how close him and Bo Ryan were. So, moving on to the next comment.
Cheeky. This man's cheeky today. I like it.
Okay, I already did that one. Losing Nick Boyd, John Blackwell next year. We need to recruit strong mid to long range outside shooters. I love the mid range, Jay, but here I am watching these games, and I'm like, go ahead, shoot that mid range jumper. Wisconsin will go knock down a 3 on the next possession. We'll trade, especially against Purdue. When Purdue was taking some tough pull ups, I love a beautiful mid range. I love Michael Jordan. I love Kawhi Leonard. I love some nice mid range Kobe. But boy, I shoot. I don't know if we want to be shooting a ton of middies. I don't know. It's good to have in your back pocket.
But I would love to have one guy to do it. If you have one guy who's high level and can do both, that's why Blackwell is so amazing for this team, right? Because you have Boyd who does hit some mid range. He had one ridiculous one hand floater from 16 feet today. I was like, what is this? And he knocked it down. And he's got that in his bag. He's knocked that down. Yeah, it was. He's hit a few of those this year. He's got that enough where he has the green light to shoot that. But no, we have John Blackwell who can get into that bump fade. He can get into the paint and score. He can score on that second level, on that secondary level, which is great because we have so much other 3-point volume from everywhere else. So I agree. I think we need, Gard is figuring out how to put these teams together. You have a downhill point guard, somebody to create havoc, to collapse defenses, to kick out the 3-point shooters. But then you have that secondary player who can get to the paint, can make plays, can shoot threes, but is extremely dangerous in the mid-range. And you got one. Oh man, it's a lovely mix of players, and it's a lovely brand of basketball that we've been witnessing this whole year.
Yeah, and I also want to say that John Blackwell, if I had to bet, I would assume he's going to leave, especially after this Big Ten tournament. I expect him to go on a heater in the NCAA tournament. But this John Blackwell, his NBA future and potential is a kind of tough one to gauge. But the way he's moving right now, I definitely think there is an avenue for him potentially to make the league. And I think he'd translate pretty well to Golden State with how Wisconsin plays. I think that would be a nice fit for him. Mike, you look like you disagree a bit.
It's just being a really, really high level college player and then making the jump to the NBA where it's all about bodies and it's all about length. There are times where he's going to get stuck, and he is a really, really high level problem solver, and he has a really nice mid range game, but it's hard to be a below the rim finishing guard that does, but he does shoot it at such a high clip. Like you said, it's going to be challenging for him to make it in the league. I don't think he can't. I think he has the ability, and I think he has the want to. It's and the way he's moving now, as to maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, is more the true version of John Blackwell that we've seen. But it's really hard to be a below the rim finishing guard in the NBA. It's a challenge. It's just there's not a lot of spots for him, and the guys that are there for a reason. So hopefully he can continue to grow. I would love for him to be on an NBA floor. I think he works his tail off and can be there. It's a challenge. It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, never, and I'm not going to be guaranteeing that he's going to play in the NBA. I just, like you kind of said, I believe there is a pathway. He is a tweener.
Yes.
He's not a point guard, and he's also at the NBA. He's 6'4", and at the NBA level, he's not an elite athlete. He's probably he's just not. But with how well he can shoot, you never know. You never know. Never
Correct.
count out a gym rat, and also from what it seems like from afar and what you hear about him, just a good, level-headed human being who won't be causing problems in the locker room. So people do value that towards for bench spots in the NBA. And then really appreciate this. One of my favorite men's basketball podcasts. How do you think this team took the loss? I think they'll take it just fine. And thank you very much for that. We really appreciate that. But yeah, I think they took the loss. I think they'll be just fine. They went down swinging. We want to win next week. Those are the close games we need to win.
Yeah, they get another 40 minutes guaranteed, and I think they're going to handle it like that.
I think I know who this is. And Lewis, I hope you're doing wonderful, great human being. Lewis, if you're still there, appreciate you stopping by. It's been a minute. But yeah, I'm super excited for Winter to come back. I think that changes everything for Wisconsin. The fact that they're doing so well without him. If Rapp and Belowskis are both back next year, that's a very formidable duo, even if Winter's not there. And then if Winter's there, holy cow, hopefully they can keep all three and let them cook next year. It'll be super high level. But yeah, Lewis, appreciate you stopping by. Great human being. Hope all is well with you. And then, go Blue. Refs bail Wisconsin out a lot. Mike, you were a baller. He did say, Mike, you were a baller back in the day.
I appreciate that. I'm still a baller today. I still get it done.
Yeah.
I'm an old man getting it done now, but yeah, I appreciate that. Back in the day, I had a good time. My game has evolved quite a bit in the 13 or 14 years since I've played in Badger Red, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. But this has been a great live. I do want to just touch on a few more things before we do wrap it up. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit that subscribe button on the channels, and also go ahead and find us on Instagram, TikTok. Please follow us on TikTok. I will ask you, please. No one follows us.
That's your
right
baby.
Now.
You love it. I love it.
It's not
get
really
us
my
get us
baby,
some
but I think the only follower is me right now. So if you guys want to go and give that a follow, go ahead. We would appreciate that.
I'll create an account just to follow you. Sorry, I don't have a TikTok account, but I'll do it just for that.
It's not me. It's us. It's the Brew with Matt.
Right,
and
Mike. I got you.
So okay, I also want to say, Mike, just for shits and giggles, I pulled up some Mike Bruzewicz highlights in 2025, and I gotta say, man, I think you sell yourself a little bit short. Hey, you're moving pretty well. You move pretty well, and boy, is that shot fluid. The shot's looking good.
Well, thanks. It's I will say this: if there's any young shooters out there, you should listen to your parents and you should play piano for finger dexterity. That's been one of with the years I have started playing piano, and I'm more consistent on it. My shooting percentage usually goes up by about 5%. So, just a thing.
Really interesting. Yeah. And then The two last topics I want to hit, I kind of interrupted myself on this one earlier, but I enjoyed Stephen Crowell. Mike,
Oh yeah.
and I'm not trying, I want to ask this in a way where I'm not steering you one way or the other. I said before the season that Wisconsin it was going to miss Stephen Crowell more than anybody realized, that he was better than people realized. His biggest weakness to me was he was just a nice human being. He was very
He was just too nice.
And he like Greg Gard would need. It felt like every month, like Gard would call him out in his senior year. Gard would call him out to the media and say, "Krause he's got to be more aggressive. He's got to play way harder. This was not close from what we need from him." And then you would have like 3 or 4 games where he would bring that aggressiveness and physicality, and then you kind of regress to just being kind of a nice human being who's not overly physical. But he was solid. He's a big body, great passer, good shooter his last 2 years. But Mike, I just want to ask you this: for this year's team, do you think Stephen Crowell would be an upgrade over Belauskas for this year's Wisconsin team, or no?
I mean, if you think about when Stephen Crowell was a freshman, right, or a sophomore,
and can I call a quick timeout and just add a little caveat to this question? Would you in a crazy world where Stephen Crowell got a 6th year? I don't want to compare 20-year-old Crowell to 20-year-old Belauskas. Do you think, let's say Crowell, NCAA is handing out extra years, do you think if Crowell somehow had another year of eligibility, he was back as a 24-year-old, or last year's version of Crowell was on this team, do you think that's an upgrade over this year's Belauskas, or no, for what this team needs?
I would say they're very comparable. You know, like it's just the production level. Belauskas has grown so much, and I will say this: the Lithuanian culture is a very tough culture. They are very prideful, and there are moments where I see Belauskas give like little smirks, and he kind of looks to the side, and he kind of gives you some FU looks, which I love. He gives you some European FU where I feel like he should be on a park bench in a full tracksuit smoking a cigarette. And I'm so sorry, I cannot remember the name. Maybe we can get him on and I can ask him. But there's a very distinct person that they talk about in Lithuania, and he has that in him. And so for me, yeah, I think obviously a 24-year-old version of Stephen Crowell is going to be more efficient, a little bit better. But I really love what Belauskas is bringing right now. He's doing stuff that he needs to do. He's helping this team win in so many different ways. And physically, Stephen Crowell was a solid big, right? I think Belauskas is bigger. I think he's more. His frame is different. He's got broader shoulders, and I think that's really going to fill out next year. I think he's going to come back in the summer and next year we're going to go, oh my goodness, he has bowling balls for shoulders, and I think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, what I find interesting, this is just a hypothetical. We're in fantasy land right now, and I would say, in the next 5 minutes, wrap this on up. I have one more question for Mike, and then we will head on out. So any last comments, throw them in there. But I will say the one thing, if in a hypothetical world where Stephen had a 5th or 6th year of eligibility, Wisconsin would be he was pretty solid on the block, and I feel like Wisconsin would be touching the post a lot more than they are. And this sounds crazy, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I just, with how this year's team plays and their free-flowing space, like I think having Belauskas not sit on the block all the time versus if Crowell was there at that age, they would be feeding him on that block a lot more. I just think for what Wisconsin needs, just that 4 points, 4 rebounds, and just playing solid for those 25 minutes, I think that's exactly, I think that for this year's team, I'm not saying Belauskas is better right now than Stephen Crowell is right now, but I just think for this year's team, Belauskas is just kind of the perfect puzzle piece. I really believe he's a perfect puzzle piece. And then we were all witnesses. And then, playing high level, totally agree. If you're going to lose, this was a quality way to lose. Last question for us before we wrap it on up. Thank you, everybody who stuck around this whole time, been on for over an hour. It's been a lot of fun. Really appreciate engaging with you guys. Mike, last question. And once again, I just want you to answer this. I don't want to steer you one way or the other. Nick Boyd, John Tonje, 2 high-level guys that Wisconsin's had back-to-back years. If you had to pick one, you're starting a squad, which one are you taking? Nick Boyd, John Tonje?
It's challenging. It really depends on the pool of players I get to pick from. that it really depends on what my team is around them, right? Because Tanjay gets it differently. Tanjay went and got his work differently, but was still extremely efficient, and I really loved his game in terms of how he would always bring it. You know, he had a very lethal step back, but it wasn't that he just relied on threes. He was, you know, he would go get free throws. He was a free throw merchant. You know, I think he shot over 8 or 9 a game, which is really hard to do. But for me, I really like what Boyd does defensively right now. He's shown up defensively, and his conditioning level, like he was cramping up yesterday. His conditioning level is insane. The way he's playing, how hard he's playing, how he's pushing this pace. For me, I'm starting with Nick Boyd. Not that Tanjay doesn't deserve it, not that he did it differently, but just in terms of how he's doing this, the environments he's doing it in, and the consistency he's doing it with, right? It's just, you know, he is bringing wave after wave after wave of energy, and the type of pressure he puts on the rim in transition. Tanjay could do that, and he could do it with his three-point barrage, but the fact that he's left-handed too, like his left-handedness and just how goofy it is for defenses to try and figure that out, and nobody has. Like teams have put him in difficult situations. They've made him work. You know, today he struggled a little bit, but he just had 38 yesterday in an overtime win. So I kind of expected him to struggle a little bit. That's okay, you're tired. That's one of the things that's really, really going to affect your playing ability. But he still looked like he was full of energy today. So, yeah, for me, I'm going with Boyd. And it's no knock on Tanjay. It's just like I'm going with Boyd because of the things I can do with him around and the type of pressure he consistently puts on the rim.
Isn't it amazing that John Tanjay was committed to a mid-major before Wisconsin came in and poached him? Isn't that amazing? And then he never had a season like that ever at Colorado State. At Missouri, he was banged up, nothing close to what he did. And now you look at, I have Nick Boyd's stats pulled up. In 2020-21, Boyd 5.1 points per game, 8.9 in 22-23, 9.3 in 23-24. And then last year for San Diego State, they do play slower than Wisconsin, but 24-25 that season. Last year, 13.4 points per game. And here he is at Wisconsin putting up 20.8 on a team that's really, really good. So just interesting, once again, once you come to Wisconsin, you got some athleticism, you're going to cook. But ladies and gentlemen, in hour 7, Mike, I had a blast chopping up with you as always, and I had a blast
Always
with
great.
each and every one of you guys watching. Thank you so much for sticking along or stopping on by. Mike and I will be back soon with a lot more content, and maybe when the season's over, we'll diversify our content a little bit, talk about something else. Who knows? But thank you guys for making time for the video, and we will see you again soon. Appreciate you.